Ladies and gentlemen, what's happening? Jumping on here because I want to share with you a new feature that's being released that is going to be super useful for any of you who have teams, multiple people, multiple members that are helping you in your operations, and communication can sometimes get really messy. Sometimes you are communicating via text, email, WhatsApp, Slack, Teams messaging, you name it. There's all these different channels that are being used to communicate, and you have to remember who you're messaging where and why, and that can get pretty messy. And so really excited about this new feature. It's getting launched. I'm going to show you where to activate it. It's already ready to roll out inside of your account. If you have a digital unicorn account and you're rocking with us, then it's already enabled. I'm going to show you where to activate that real quick here. Okay, so let's jump in here and show you. Now, if you're familiar with normally what the conversations tab looks like, right? Because this is where you communicate or see a snapshot of all the conversations that are happening in your account, whether it's via email, social, text, etc. You're used to seeing these three boxes here. Now you can notice on my account here, this demo account, this looks a little bit different now. That's because I've already activated the feature in this demo account. But for yourself, you're typically used to seeing this kind of a view right here, where it's just one line, two line, three line, etc. Right? Okay. So if you go down to settings, scroll down to labs, about midway down, you're going to see this internal chat for team collaboration. Go ahead and toggle that on if it's not already in your account. Once you do, you're going to see this option pop up now. Now you got this three categorical section here for a team inbox, for your inbox, and for internal stuff. Okay. And so this is the part that I'm talking about with internal chat. So if you're going to create a chat with your team members, this is the section where all those chats that are created, they're just viewable only to those internal members that are added to the chat. Okay. Pretty simple to do. You just create a new chat. You'll see this new dialog box that gives you three options. One, where you can send a direct text message to a contact. Two, where you can do a group text message to a series of contacts. And then the example here is the internal chat. Okay. This is the one we're going to choose. You can choose the participants that you want to add to this. So let's just say, we're going to add in myself here. Okay. And you start a chat. And as you can see, now you got a new chat window. It shows new because this one hasn't been read or anything. And you just chat away. Okay. Bam. This is a test. And as you can see, you can do uploads as well from the system or from your library. If you want to add files and whatnot, emojis, you can use that as well. But a really simple and clean interface just to start talking with people. If you need to add somebody to it, you can do that as well up here. Select that person, and then you can choose whether or not you add them to the beginning of the conversation or don't include the chat history. And as soon as you do that, they're added to the chat as well, as you can see now. Okay? Pretty simple and clean. Not a whole lot to it, but it's a really cool tool to enable that communication between team members. And if you need to mark it red after it's done, you can do that. And obviously you'll see it show up in this section as well. It doesn't have the number next to it anymore, or it does have the number, next to it, because it has one message that's in there. This one's showing that it hasn't been. I can mark that as red. Now you see that's gone. Yeah. Go to all, brings them back up here again. All right. Pretty simple. And that's really the logistics behind it. Not a whole lot to it. Once you get going, obviously you might have a bunch of stuff in here that you're going to need to maybe search through as you start adding a bunch of chats in here. But if you're using, chats between certain people all the time, then you can obviously name it here. This is a good idea to name it by subject, because then you can see what's what, and it'll show it right here. Gives you the title. And that'll be a quick way to differentiate it. So if you're familiar with how Slack or Teams work, it's very similar to that, just much more simple, much more clean, very simplistic, and a really powerful way to start communicating with your teams right here, so you don't lose track of where you're doing it and have to use 5 different channels for it. All right. Hope you take advantage of that. Start using it. Play around with it. Jump in there. Start messaging with your teammates. Get them accustomed to using the internal private chat feature. And I believe it's going to save you a lot of time, save you a lot of headache, and save you from missing out on things that you shouldn't have. All right. We will talk to you later, and hope you're doing well.